Let me just say a word before I do this stuff. I'm going to miss Dr. Fulbright. He not only was my mentor, he was my personal friend, and I call him Papa Doc. No wonder I'm always feeling nervous when I'm up on a case like this, but particularly for him. Not only was he thought enough for me to hire me as a faculty member from my mentee days as a student, I told him I'd never let him down. So today, I'm not letting him down. Now for the raising lecture for my main year. For all the captains in the house, please stand. Durham, North Carolina Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Resolution of respect honoring Brother Dr. Stewart B. Twiggy Fulbright, Jr. Whereas the resolution of respect honoring the life of fraternal works of Brother Stewart B. Fulbright was authorized by the pole mark of the Durham, North Carolina Alumni Chapter, Brother Harry A. Leak, as an expression of sorrow for the universal loss of our beloved brother, keeping his date with destiny January 1st, 2012. And whereas Brother Fulbright rendered efficient and obtrusive but invaluable service to his beloved fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, having been initiated through the Lincoln, Missouri University Chapter, the Alpha Mu of Kappa Alpha Psi. And whereas Brother Fulbright's contributions to the Lincoln University Chapter, the Alpha Mu of Kappa Alpha Psi, and his beloved Durham and Cary, North Carolina alumni chapters, during his 70 years plus of affiliation, were marked with ingredients of sound judgment, unfading loyalty, honor, and distinction, posting many noteworthy achievements and accomplishments along the way. And whereas Brother Fulbright exhibited his genuine love for the fraternity, a record chronicle in the international headquarters as a life member, and a financial and sustaining member for many years in our alumni member, with his last chapter of affiliation, the Cary, North Carolina chapter of the Middle Eastern Province, where he was a charter member. Now therefore be resolved that the memory of Brother Fulbright be appropriately honored and chronicled in the archival records of the international headquarters of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Incorporated, his last alumni chapter affiliation of Kappa Alpha Psi prior to joining the chapter Invisible. Be it further resolved that we continue to reflect upon Brother Fulbright's years of boundless enthusiasm for the fraternity, for no one whose privilege it was to know him is likely to forget his candor of his speech, the courage of his faith, and the seriousness of his expressions toward the fraternity, and further fraternal respect and protocol yields that a copy of this expression be forwarded to the immediate family of Brother Fulbright, along with local, provincial, and national officers of our fraternity, advising them of his unique contribution in advancing the fraternity, his program's power and prestige. May his deeds and accomplishments, coupled with his fraternal achievements, forever remain his legacy to those who love and serve our grand fraternity. In witness whereof, we have fixed the great seal of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, honoring achievement as this goal. This, the 7th day of January 2012. Attesting Brother Harry Lee, Postmark, Brother Lizelle Webley, Vice Postmark, LeVar Thompson, Keeper of Records, Reverend Brother Dr. Michael Page, Chaplain, Joseph K. Davis, Chaplain of Middleton Province, yours truly, Member Rice. Thank you for the privilege.
Tuskegee Airmen, please stand. You may take your seats now. Good afternoon. I have mixed thoughts in saying I am pleased to be here. It is the notion that it is never pleasing when we say farewell to someone who's meant so much. But it is indeed an opportunity to perhaps mention something that you may not know about, or something that the person departing from us would like to make known. First, he's a bridge. tremendous bridge. We used to sit in our private conversations, and he would bridge North Carolina Central University with that other school in Greensboro. And for that, I am grateful. Dr. Fulbright grew up in a time when the experts said, if you sleep with dogs, you'll catch fleas. And you will be like those that you hang out with. And being a normal person to that respect, he chose his own path. Along that path, he joined a group of rebels, they were known as. To some, they were known as angels from above. The Tuskegee Airmen. In 1943, he graduated as a lieutenant in charge of a bombardment group. Out of that, he did what he later did for many, many years. He taught. These airmen had an attitude about them that said, irrespective of the point that we have not enjoyed our full citizenry, for love of country, we'll stand in the gap, and if necessary, we will die. At the time, you will recall, there was a henchman in Europe whose main purpose was to destroy God's people. And God so orchestrated things that a nation called the United States of America, which stood on the sideline, God said, let me usher you into the midst of this. And so members like the Tuskegee Airmen went forth to face the Nazis who were intent of eliminating the Jews and others. And so he became a part of that, or perhaps he brought what he had into that domain, and it became a part of him. These people were willing to wait, and often they would share in the warrior's prayer. Oh God, I do not ask that you remove me from this fight. Just strength, oh God, to make it through this night. But night sometimes moves so slow, and daybreak is so shy. Oh God, just this one thing before I die. We do not say goodbye, for it is not goodbye. We await the time when you and I and all of us will join in the greatest army that ever reached the earth. And that commander-in-chief will lead the way. We will miss you. We miss your intellect, your intelligence, your cool and calm, your leadership. We miss mostly your love that radiated through difficult times, that radiated when all else was justified, when anger was justified. And you said, just be cool. It's all going to be okay. We're going to miss you for that. And now we will depart from you, but in our hearts, we're going to keep the things that you told us forever. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on, speak to me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a wonderful afternoon, a beautiful day. It's a wonderful day for Ascendo. In the course of my work, I get a chance to walk around the campus, and from time to time I'll stop at the statue of Dr. Shepard and wonder what it must have been like for him to be the founder and the president of the institution. And how much we whine about what we don't have, and how they did so much with so little. I read where Dr. Fulbright was the last faculty member hired by Dr. Shepard. And as I read that, I thought about the analogy of a giant. And generally when we think about giants, we think of them as really being tall, large people. But I read that Dr. Fulbright was 5'7". But then I said, he was a giant. But I said, how was he a giant? And I answered by saying, in his intellect. Go back and look at his education. His passion for excellence. The fact that he mentored so many people. His loyalty. His leadership. And even though he was not a graduate of North Carolina Central University, he was an embodiment of the motto of truth and service. And so this afternoon, to the members of his family, I want to bring you greetings and condolences on behalf of the North Carolina Central University family, of which your father was a part, and husband and brother was a part for many years. And so, allow me, if you will, to read the resolution in remembrance of Stewart B. Fulbright. Whereas God, in his infinite wisdom, has called to rest Stewart B. Fulbright at age 92, Professor Emeritus and founding Dean of North Carolina Central University School of Business, a Tuskegee Airman, a leader in his church and community, and a devoted and beloved family man. And whereas in 1943, soon after he received his bachelor's degree from Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, he enlisted in the Army Air Corps and was assigned to Tuskegee, Alabama, where he joined nearly 1,000 African-American men in training to become pilots, navigators, and bombardiers during World War II. He was commissioned a second lieutenant and served as a B-50, B-25 bomber pilot for the rest of the war. And whereas after completing his military service, he earned an MBA at the University of Chicago. And in 1947, he joined the faculty of the Commerce Department at North Carolina College, now known as NCCU. He subsequently earned a PhD in Business Administration from The Ohio State University in 1953. And whereas for more than 3 decades at NCCU, he distinguished himself as a scholar, administrator, teacher, and mentor, serving as acting dean of the undergraduate school from 1966 to 1968, as chair of the Commerce Department from 1968 to 1972, when the department became the School of Business in 1972, serving as its first dean. One of his former students described him as a soft-spoken person who was a great listener. And it was during this time, as dean of the School of Business, that the Master of Business Administration degree was established. And whereas he remained in contact with his wartime colleagues through his membership in the William V. Eagleson chapter of Tuskegee Airmen. On March 29, 2007, was one of 200 surviving Tuskegee Airmen to be presented with Congress's highest civilian honor, the Congressional Gold Medal. Now therefore be it resolved that the entire North Carolina Central University family mourns the passing of this beloved and distinguished scholar and leader, a giant, and extends its condolences to his wife, Della Marie, and all members of his family. On the 7th day of January 2012, Charlie Downs, Chancellor.